5 o'clock. Catherine will be here
I may be the oldest person.
when she's able. Yeah.
You want me to
Did everyone get a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting on April 8th? There were 2 sets of them. There was one set for the regular meeting, and then we had a separate set for the executive session. Any questions, comments, or changes to those? If not, we'll take them one at a time. I'll accept a motion for the regular minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Carries. And for the executive session minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Very good. Just as a point of information, I checked with Tricia about what happens with the executive session minutes. And because there's no specific individual named in them, and as long as the item that was being discussed is no longer pending or any sort of embarrassing incident or whatever, as long as it's pretty much informational only, they will just be registered as part of the regular. Is that your understanding as well?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right, so we're on the same page there.
So they're both going to be posted.
They will both be posted, yes.
All right.
Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do tonight is to go over basically go line by line. Oh, hey.
Hi. Getting pretty fast.
Thank you for coming.
No problem.
So we were just getting started, basically.
Okay.
So we want to go over the budget section by section, the way we have been, and then we need to go through the special town meeting warrant articles and the annual town meeting warrant articles as well. There were a couple of items as I was going through them last night that I wanted some more information on, so Liz provided some more information on one of the lines that we'll get to. So I guess we'll just start in with the budget. Now, as I mentioned in the email, our goal, if you will, if we want to keep to our stated target of 2.5% increase, we are currently off by about $70,000. So our goal is to find $70,000 in the budget. We may be able to, we may not be able to. So we'll see how that all plays out, and we've got the experts here to help us. So
Can you go back down?
Absolutely, sorry.
That's okay. I just want to make sure I understand these numbers. So that budget, 11,276, actually includes capital fund dollars, does it not?
It does
Yes.
not.
Yes,
I
it
thought
does.
This police.
The police station.
270,000.
Is over here.
No, it's,
Oh, you took that out of the budget?
the budget there is 11,270,000.
Okay, I see what you're
And the
saying.
270 is in this line 825, so
So to
that
me, it looks
does
like we're
include it.
not over budget, because that 270 shouldn't be
Okay.
included in that budget line. That should be
Plus there's another-
11,006,545.
Yeah, plus there's
Yep.
another 200,000 in that 11,276 that's going to come from ambulance funds for the EMS line like we do every year, so.
Okay.
We are a little over, Nate and I went over it the other day, a little over the 2.5% increase. We're still well under the levy limit. and
I
we're
need
not-
you to explain that to me, because to me, it's looking like we are under, but we have an excess of almost $200,000.
Right, but if you go back to what the forecast says, which is what the target revenue came from.
11,500.
Right. Can you go back up a little, Nate, please? Up a little more. We did not use the full $465,000 for
Here.
free cash.
Okay.
We have not used all of that in the budget process. We only used $303,000.
Okay, so now we're,
And we were advised by the Collins Group and whatnot, not to use it for budgetary ongoing items. We were advised to use it for capital, a one-time thing, and that's what we've been doing here. And yes, we are a little over, but that's based on the value as it stands right now, and the assessors has not updated their value. So there's a lot of time between now and then as to what can happen. It can go down, it can go up.
Okay, and I'm not trying to be contrary at all.
I understand
But
that.
I need to understand, so we're not using all the free cash, we're only gonna use 303, we're gonna leave the rest.
Well, that's what we have right now.
Okay, so is that number on that other page, that 11,000, that 2% target number, incorrect?
Yes, because that well, that's got the 303 in it now.
On the budget page?
Takes a minute to
Yep.
think. Yes, sir.
Totally different from here.
Yeah, after I sent it out to you last night, I continued to play with it a little.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is.
So is that $11,525,000 the correct 2.5% target number or not?
The 11 million, the number I have is 11,000,006. But there are still
Okay, so
things in here that are
525
unknown.
So 525 is good, that's a little
Okay.
below the target.
Yeah.
Okay, so that budget number though should not read 11,276, it should read 11,006,545.
Okay, then the,
Do you understand? So-
Yeah,
Yes,
because you're
I-
taking out the
I
207.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out an easy way to explain it to you, what is what I'm doing. The target revenue is 11.5, the budget is 11,276. Warrant articles, raise and appropriate. That's the free cash thing. And the warrant articles, capital, they're,
Cap fund is 95,903.
Well, that doesn't include the police station, so the total amount is
Oh.
365 over here, 366. That's just the new stuff.
So do we only need to come up with now
No.
52,000?
Well, no.
approximately,
To
yeah.
No.
shave?
Yes.
Well, no, because
To me,
as
it
you
looks like
said,
there's an excess of $200,000.
220 now.
Because that budget number should say 11,006,545. Because 270 of it you've moved to
Right.
the
Right.
right there.
Well, the sheet that was originally done with the 11,000,005 included all the other sources. They're up, included in that 11,000,005. The 300,000 plus for free cash, the 200 from the ambulance fund, and the 365 for capital are all included in the bottom line that I gave you. And that 11,276 is strictly budgets only. So it's not, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's not an equal comparison.
Well, the 11,276 is in budgets only, because that does include
Well,
capital
that-
money in it.
Yeah, but only
Right.
2 items of
Right.
capital, not anything that's an article.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but the whole process is the whole thing, budgets, articles, everything.
The total
And you-
cost to the
Okay.
town.
And you're not comparing apples and apples. You got kind of apples and
Okay, so
oranges
the
and
budget
pears.
number does include some capital money, but the capital line down there is only
Is only,
95. It isn't the whatever.
it isn't the 270 also
Okay.
that's up in the other.
Okay.
Where this sheet here, the forecasting sheet that I gave you had everything in it.
So that target revenue includes the $300,000 of capital money? That target
Yes.
revenue?
Yes, it includes that, and it includes the $200,000 for the ambulance money that's
Factored in after.
factored into the 11.2, and some capital stabilization money from articles. In order to do it and take the whole thing, I believe you'd have to take the budget and then all the articles, and then subtract it out and see where you can. And as Nate said, we're only about,
Now, what is it, 52,000
about-
short?
yeah, it's about, I think, 60,000 somewhere around there.
Okay.
But there's
Uh,
still
that-
a lot of unknowns.
Right, and I understand now what you're saying, that target revenue, even though that says budget, it's not actually
That-
all
Well, the
operating
11,2,
expenses.
the
It includes some capital.
11,276 are all your budget lines and only your budget lines, but it does not include any of your articles. Even though it says
Right,
warrant,
yes.
raise and appropriate.
Right, but it also includes police station debt, which is gonna be paid with the
Yeah,
capital.
there's two things that are gonna be paid with another source that are in there, so it's really
Okay.
not comparing apples and oranges.
This $52,000 number does not include the 95, so the 95 from
Yeah, okay.
capital is not added into this.
Would it? What I understood now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you look at the two figures above it, you can see that.
Can you go on that 52, just so I can see what the formula is? So it's 168 minus that, doesn't subtract out the
It doesn't
95.
subtract that.
And why doesn't it do that?
I didn't do the,
No, I'm just wondering. Should it? It's subtracting out the rest of the capital money that's in the budget lines,
You can do that.
right? Because that's gonna put us shorter then. Yeah, no,
we're not 100. When I did it and used the sources and created the balance sheet, we come to 9620 and we hit, and the 2.5% was 9554, so roughly.
So what does that mean?
It means we're about 65,000 short
Over
of
the 2.5.
over the 2.5. However, we haven't got cherry sheets. We only have an estimate of cherry sheets. They could be higher. We have no change in the valuation of the town. And the process is, when we get down to the net amount here, or the levy, we divide that by the total valuation. Marilyn's looking at me, she knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Divide that by the total valuation of the town. If that valuation goes up, then our tax rate goes down.
Mhm.
But we don't have that, and the girls upstairs don't have
So
any
you,
idea
in
what
your
it is yet.
wisdom as accountant forever and ever and ever, saying that we can
Thank
go
you
with the
for
number
making me
we've
feel
got?
good. I'm saying, for the time being,
Or do you think we need to cut from the budget?
I went through the lines and I don't see a lot of places we can, but there are a few places we can adjust if we need to when we get closer to an actual valuation to see what the rate is. And there is also a chance that if, the Two Brooks gets sold and whatnot this summer, that we will have a town meeting in the fall or whatever to take care of the sale of those two,
We'll need
transferring the money to the bond that we have out on them now. And should we need something to bring it down, and the overlay situation goes well, we'll have extra funding there that we could reduce something and change the source and get us down to where we want or whatever. I think there's a lot of spaces that still are unknowns.
Well, how do we vote if we don't know?
You never know at this
I
time.
know, but that's what I mean. Are you comfortable leaving it the way it is?
I am right now, yes.
Okay. Now I'm ready if you want to go through line by line and.
if you had to pare stuff down too, there are some articles that maybe could be,
There are, all the articles we've got are from other sources, there's none.
so it
Except-
won't,
yeah,
even
that won't change
directly,
anything.
yeah. There's not much in here that's extra.
I suppose
Like
if you
fluff.
want to take the group insurance line and go down like to, I mean,
We've already taken
You've taken-
75,000 out of that. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
necessarily feel like we could go down any further than that.
I mean,
There's not a whole lot of extra.
Okay, so let's do it like they do at a town meeting. We'll go section by section. So we'll do the top section, insurance and pension. Any discussion, or I guess we'll just go section by section. We'll vote on all at once. Any questions, comments? pretty much straightforward. As we talked about, we've already whacked 75,000 off of the group insurance.
That unemployment figure, are we gonna be continuing into next year with FY19 with the?
No, with the current member,
Right.
no, I believe it stopped as of the end of March. I just got a bill,
Well,
Colin
and that
just got a bill.
$1,000 is basically a placeholder anyway.
Right.
Yeah, that's all it
Yeah,
is.
crystal.
That particular one, I believe, is completed because the new bill we got was not the amount we'd been getting. It was about a third of what we've been getting, so I think we're okay.
Okay, so the next section is general government. You know, the item here that's different is the conservation agent, which is, you know, $19,000. So if we were looking to cut some money, we could trim that back a little bit or not approve it at all. Everything else I think is pretty much in line.
I think if we're hiring somebody because they're gonna help the town and do what we need to do, that's... I don't know. And we can afford to do it, I mean,
Wasn't the idea that agent gets paid out of fees?
For a portion, they said I think like 7,000 they hoped would be covered by the fees. So if we were looking to save a couple of $1,000s, we could conceivably fund this at 12.5.
Can we come back to that one?
Sure. Assessors. This is one that I had asked Liz for the backup documentation on, which I believe she made a copy for each of you. It's a 26% increase over last year. Specifically, I was looking at line 170.
Must be changing sections.
So the bulk of it does not appear to be itemized here, so I assume those are still ongoing expenses from before. The new expenses are the consultant that was voted as a warrant article last year. There are some educational costs for the certification for the staff, and then there are payroll hours added in here as an expense as well.
What do you mean payroll hours? What do you mean?
the staff hours for the education.
Okay.
Apparently the courses are on the weekends, so they want to be paid, which I don't blame them,
Are
but
we going to have to,
I can't pay
Are
them
we-
out of an expense line like that. There's a
because we wouldn't be
a
paying them
salary
as a
line for-
vendor. If they're being paid as an
It is.
employee, we would have to actually,
why couldn't we give them a day off in the week if they were working Saturday?
we could do that too.
That
So,
would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
because they are hourly, they're not salaried.
They're both hourly employees, and there is a line that you're funded for each of them. So if they would be getting more hours for anything, those amounts should be added into those lines and not their expense line.
I think though Nate was wondering if we could just deduct the 11:30 and the 7:30 from the expense budget and not replace it in salaries and just tell
This
them
isn't
adjust
right.
your hours accordingly.
Yep. That's exactly what Nate's thinking. Any other comments about this?
Makes sense. Great. I like what you said.
Can I ask a dumb question? They've got a, is there more than one page to this?
No, and I had to go,
1,500, 1,000, 500, 1130, and 730 equals 23,000?
no. So originally they had a little tiny number. They had, they had 4,860. And then I went back to them and said, what about your computer software?
Yeah,
Like,
what
that's
about
really tiny.
computers, office
And this
supplies,
is
mileage, and all that
This is
stuff?
what I was sent back, 2338. This is a photocopy, and they wrote on this 21919 corrected. I did not edit this at all. That was,
So we don't know where the other $18,000 is.
Well, it's
going.
probably in the same
They
place that
said
the 18,520 is right now, which is computer expense.
computer and mileage
vi-
and some
and office
of that.
supplies and all that.
That was me, this was after me going back a second time asking for clarification and an updated sheet.
I'm sorry, I just had never seen it, so I didn't ask.
Um,
18.5.
That would bring it down to 21,520 if we did.
So it looks like
What
these
Nate
numbers
was
here added
suggesting.
with the 18.5 plus these numbers here are just about coming out to this.
That is, yeah,
Yeah.
that's how they get it, but they're still supposed to itemize
The
Correct.
18.5.
the 18.5. Okay, well, that presents us with a dilemma.
If you take out those staff hours, it's 21,520.
Do we have last year's sheets from them? Do we have those anywhere?
Can make me work, huh?
Because it was probably broken out in that. So we have an idea of what is included in that number.
Looks awfully familiar. So see, so that was a little bit more descriptive.
Yeah, but 10,000 is new map software, so that shouldn't be there. If it was new last year, they don't need to buy it again.
I know that there's a maintenance, it's the computer database.
That's there, that says 12,496.
Yeah, so that was what she referenced for this year.
But this $10,000 shouldn't be there. That can come out.
But they only had 18.2.
Well, maybe I can't read.
Yeah, that's
It's hard to-
24,
Yeah,
230,
this says-
It says 20
737.
24,
So you must have
737.
cut them considerably last year.
Maybe.
Because it looks like, from what I can see, I think that
It looks
says 24, 737.
It does. It's 237, I think. 24,
So that-
237.08.
Yeah.
Would that have been their budget the year before?
From 17?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, you know what, that must be from 17, because look down here, you can see the 18,520.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah.
So they didn't really itemize anything then,
Nope.
last year either.
There's not another page, right, that
No.
would back up? No.
Well, maybe there is. Let's see.
No, that's
No,
just
it's
for
just-
Al.
That's just Al's.
They gave the backup data for the education and conferences costs, which I put in your packets. So you have exactly what I received.
But even if we look at even if we assume that there's, the database maintenance is, 12,005, which sounds pretty hefty for a maintenance contract, but what do I know? Membership dues, we're looking at like 15 grand. I don't see how we got to 18. Do you have any idea where they are now so far, Barbara?
Not off the top of my head, no. I think they're okay, but I don't know.
They were okay, but I don't believe they would have much extra because when they were presented with one of the legal bills for the Cisco matter, they had come and we took it out of our overall legal budget. I don't think they would have had it.
FY18 budget was 18.5 and their actual was 16,685. And looks like FY19 was level funded, that line.
Maybe we should level fund it again and let them come for a transfer request at some point and explain what it's for.
And just let them know that.
And let them know
But
that,
may I? The one other difference is the $1,500 for Mr. Vochno. That was
Right.
originally an article, and maybe we should take the
Add that.
18.5 and add the 1,500 for him and do 20,000. And
That
then-
would be good.
And where you put it in and we've reduced the there's only 2 articles in there for the assessors. There were 3 including his, but we took 1 out. So if you put the 15 in, they can't come back and say you didn't fund them at all. That's taken care of. Give them 20,000 flat, and then they do
And then
the
they can
hourlies
figure out-
on their own time and shuffle their week or close a day or whatever they have to.
I think that's a
Can you
good
live-
solution.
Can you live with that one, Mr. Chairman?
Well, I'm still not in favor of the 1,500, as you all know, but I can.
I think we have to, I think the town voted on that last year, and we have to go with what the town has said they want, even if we don't think it was the right thing to do at the time, personally.
What do you think?
I agree with Lisa. I think we should.
I mean, to tell them they gotta go back to town and fight for it at another town
No.
meeting, I don't think that's the right thing to do.
No, and we've removed the article for it,
It's sitting
so.
there as a
It's a
placeholder
placeholder
awkwardly at
only.
the end.
I mean, it's not
I mean, we could
change
cut it and they
side
could
of
fight
it.
about it for their budget line too.
Huh?
Right.
They could fight. Even if there isn't an article and we reduced this by that, they could come back and fight.
Sure they can.
And I don't think that, I really
don't
don't
think
think
any-
that's the right thing for us to do. I think the town's voted and they've said they want him to be paid,
Yeah.
whether we think it's right or not.
As a consultant.
Yeah, but he is being paid as a consultant in here because he bills
Right.
the town as a vendor. He gets a
Well, if he-
vendor check. And he gets a 1099, whatever they are, because it's over the thing, so he has to claim it, so.
At least I won't take away his Medicare.
Ooh.
About computer software.
Okay, town clerk. Every line in this department was reduced versus previous. I think we've discussed it all. We did have a letter from the
Current?
interim clerk. So, just remind folks of that. Any discussion? Accountant, treasurer. It's primarily a payroll of the 4.25. Slight increase more than that for expenses. Any discussion here? Moving on to selectmen. Expenses went up pretty significantly.
To a new building?
No, what was the reason?
It was for the grant writer to establish that, for them to hire the consultant to do the grant writing. And obviously we would not expend, we had put 5,000 into their expense budget to cover that. We wouldn't expend it if the person wasn't successful, so it would kind of be on a trial basis.
You successful, you mean,
Successful obtaining grants.
so
Like it would be like
if she only gets paid if she actually obtains the grant?
well, we would work it out with her, like in the discussions that we've been having with her, we would set an hourly rate somewhere around $25 per hour. And basically set her off on a course with maybe 1 grant or 2 grants and authorize a certain number of hours and then kind of see how it goes, with the understanding that either party could terminate the agreement at any time. So if she wasn't successful, say with the first go-round, we probably wouldn't be inclined to fund that any further. Or maybe we would, seek other options and that sort of thing. I do have a list here.
If there's somebody who lived close by to the town hall that wanted to write grants
Right.
for us,
Yeah, I know.
in her spare time.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
We have, I have a list here for the particular person that we were having conversations with, her successful grant awards over the past few years for other towns in Western Mass. I have
Was she
that
the one who
here.
wrote the grant for the fire department to get the,
No, that was actually Elise Lyons that did
right,
that.
I wasn't sure if it was the same person.
No, that was Elise Lyons that did that. So, basically it was just looking to kind of get it
Yeah.
established and
Did
sort
Did she
of
say
on a
which one she
trial
didn't
run.
get?
She did not. She did not. She did tell, there were a couple that were big ones that in one of the towns, they were awarded the grant and then there had been a change on the Board of Selectmen and then they opted not to take the grant, which kind of brought that town out of favor with whatever state entity they were dealing with. And then there was another one that when it came time to basically accept the grant, the town had to put up, I think it was a 10% match, and they couldn't come up with their share. So those were the only 2
Okay.
unsuccessful stories that we received. I'm sure that there are others. I mean, you don't get every
No.
single one you apply for,
No.
but I think for that, we would want to start out small and see, and maybe also direct the person towards grants where some of them you can actually write it into the grant that you will receive a stipend back for kind of the administrative costs, and see if there's a mechanism by which we could direct those funds and have it more or less, not pay for itself, but somewhat have that count in the compensation.
The other large increase was custodian. Obviously, there's another
Yeah.
building for him to take care of now,
And 5 hours per week.
and 5 hours per week, correct. And then town council was just because
Just because.
we've obviously blown through that. So anyway, we thought we'd budget a little bit more this coming year. Any questions on selectmen? Board of Health, pretty straightforward. Increase for the support staff. Everything else is level. Highway, Public Works. Again, mostly payroll, labor costs. There was a $1,200 increase to the equipment line. Any questions? Personal property protection. Pretty much level funded. Building departments, think we've already discussed this a couple of times now. The administrative assistant, we have kept at the 4.25. But we added 5 hours from last year at this time.
Correct, it's 30 hours per week now.
At what point do you have to stop paying benefits?
24.
19?
Oh, so it was already in there.
She was
It's 20
already,
hours.
she was already eligible.
It's 20 hours through wage and personnel for benefits.
Any questions about building departments? Fire EMS. Again, I think we've gone all through all this stuff. Police. Remember that we're budgeting a little bit less for the police chief because we won't have one probably for a little while we're doing a search, and we may or may not bring him in at the same salary, him or her in at the same salary.
That's negotiated.
Why is clerical yellow?
That's just for my
Those lines we
purposes.
added?
It's a new line number, so
Okay.
I just wanted to call it out when I write my cover letter. I think it used to be 567, and because I wanted to make utilities the same, ending in a 7. I don't know. I mean, veterans agent. Now, the veterans agent is a stipend, correct?
Yes.
Correct, but it's under wage and personnel.
She gets so much a month, whatever, and that's just the 2% amount that
The COLA that
Yeah.
wage and personnel
Mel
votes.
voted, and that was it.
Because wasn't it the same for?
No, it's been
Was
going
it this one or
down.
was it something else? I thought maybe it was council agent.
Well,
See.
Council on Aging, we didn't pay anything to for years.
Yeah,
when we
I
started.
realize that. Okay, so that's all.
But in fairness to this too, part of that $50,000 that we vote for benefits for the thing, she sends forms to the state and we get reimbursed 75% of that. So that comes back through our state receipts too. So it isn't as expensive as a department as it looks on paper because we get part of that back.
Okay. Library. Nothing jumps out at me. Schools. Sped line went up, but that's coming. A lot of it's coming back this year. So
No, it's vocational ed that's coming back as well.
yeah, but some sped's
Some
coming
is
back too.
coming
I
back,
think.
too.
Yeah, that's what they said. Regional school assessment. Primarily went up because the Plympton's contribution level changed.
And isn't there a resource officer in there too?
That's a
an
warrant
article.
article.
Article. But,
We can vote that down later. Okay, so and then everything else is what it is. So that brings us back to the conservation agent.
Remind me, can somebody remind me what this is? Like what-
Conservation's
What it's
obviously it's of value to the town. They feel as though that with the amount of building going on in the town and the projects like the Twin Brooks and Two Brooks and such, that there is a need for professional assistance to counsel the Conservation Commission. They expect to be able to bill out the majority of, well, half of this person's salary through fees to people that come in to, you know, build or whatever in the town. So some of this money will come back, but the rest of it is to protect the resources of the town. And they were going to put somebody, they were gonna try to hire somebody temporarily or
Like on a consultant
on a consultant basis for the rest of this fiscal year, and I don't know where that,
I
because there was,
believe they had started working on that.
because there was some discussion as to whether it was $30 an hour or $35 an hour, or whether that would get it done, or whether. Yeah, up to 7,000 funded through filing fees. Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll accept it and move on. So that brings our number to $11,273,185 for our total budget. If there's no more discussion, I'll entertain a motion to approve that budget number.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
I just have to run to selectmen for a few minutes.
Sure.
That's a walk, not a run.
Yes. A brisk pace.
I'll stay put.
Okay, so moving on, we will go through the warrant articles for the special town meeting and then the annual town meeting.
Okay.
Special article number 1 is the police station, outfitting the police station. This is stuff that I gave you all. Do you want me to bring it up on the screen so we can read it, or do we all know it sufficiently? Okay. So this is just a furniture, office equipment, that sort of thing for the police station. Was not part of the construction budget, so it's a $35,000 line. Article number 2 was unpaid bills from prior fiscal year. Barb, do we need to know anything more about that, or?
No, I can give you a list if you want.
Not really.
Okay, that's fine. No, the biggest one is, there's a legal bill in there that's
Okay.
over 5,500. And then a council on aging bill, couple recreation.
Those are
and
from
18.
18.
We haven't had a town meeting to do them, so.
Okay. OPEB, we have been, in the past couple of years, we've been trying to throw $20,000 a year towards our OPEB responsibility. Because we had a little extra to play with this year, we thought we would throw $30,000 towards it.
May I? We had one
Certainly.
article drop out, the Two Brooks article that was 34,000, and that was
Yes.
a transfer from a current year's budget too. So we thought we'd add an extra 10,000 to that just to use some of it up as we went along.
Okay.
The next one, the town building maintenance account for unexpected issues
Like floods.
like floods and
Broken heat.
sewer pipes and whatever else happens.
And everything else this year.
Oops, sorry.
No, you're
Is
good.
it?
No, you're good. You're just blocking this view. Yeah, so that was $10,000 added to that. The next item is renovations to the town hall, specifically to the police side of things. They were to.
That's the current police station and
Right.
started to
Correct.
do some renovating.
Do they
work
know
up
what they
there.
want to do?
There's some things, like there's a cage up there and whatnot, there's some things they're getting out of
Cars
there.
use a cage.
Really?
Put us in there.
Really?
Put me in there, yeah. But it was requested by the Board of Selectmen
Okay.
and whatnot to get things done,
Get them
start to
started.
see what we could do with the area, because there's more space than a lot of people realize up there. And it's kind of cut up, and whether they open it
They'll have
up.
to
Especially
take-
after the police moved their junk out of there.
Take down walls. My only question was, wouldn't it make sense to have a plan in place
Right.
before we spend money? But,
Right, yeah.
still sort of feel that way.
Well, I think where it's a warrant article, the money's in there and it's sitting there. Hopefully they will have a plan before they start spending it. But if we don't fund it now, we have to wait for a whole nother year to have them start anything.
Yep.
I would hope that they're gonna come up with a plan and not just start throwing money at it.
Well,
So.
they've been asking
Yeah.
offices like downstairs, do you folks want to
They should be able to move, yeah.
to move upstairs, or Council on Aging, do they want to
Right.
move up? And-
Yep.
And trying to get an idea what some of the staff would, would like that are in the building now. So they're working on that part of it, so I don't think they're just gonna
Right.
go in and tear everything down and stuff.
I don't know if us old people climb up them stairs.
Well, that was part of the issue,
Yeah.
and they said, no, they wanted to stay here and do something else.
Yeah.
So, but the building departments and whatnot, they gotta go down, they gotta come back up anyway, and it's a shorter staircase going up
Yeah.
than it would be down, so. And then they could put a ramp outside if they had to, for accessibility.
There is a ramp in the
is a-
back,
Yeah, in the back, but
Yeah.
not in the front.
but not in the
Yeah.
front.
No.
I had asked the 3 fire department articles were all being presented as one, and I suggested that
It has been fixed.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's been fixed here, yeah.
Okay.
I suggested that they might want to divide them up, because otherwise they were sort of tying our hands to making it all or nothing. So we've got the 3 multi-gas meters, 2 thermal imaging cameras, and then the billing department, the billing software and tablets. So those are now 3 separate articles.
Mhm.
Library handicap repairs. Had to fix the door, wasn't it?
Yes, the front door going in is
Something.
slamming
Yep.
and whatnot.
Does it have a push button on it for automatic open?
I don't think it does, that's the
Okay.
problem,
Yeah.
so that's going to be installed and whatnot too. And this'll give them a chance to get it done in the spring and not have to wait until July and whatnot, where we had some funding in the group insurance line. Now, this fire station repair is coming from the sale of town property. The
Correct.
30,000 is coming from, it's half of the 60,000 that they sold the fire truck. So it's going back into the fire station.
And then the next 3 are all listed as one article, but again, it says in the article that they would be
They're coming.
handled separately. So I listed them as A, B, and C. They're coming out of vocational ed money, is that right?
Yes.
Barb?
Yeah, all from vocational ed. It's in kind of a different way of doing the article. They put it as a chart kind of thing on here, but
Yep.
it's fine.
Yep. So, any comments, discussion, complaints, issues, concerns? Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the special town meeting warrant as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. Annual town meeting. Again, we have it available if anybody wants to refer to the specific article. Steve will be glad to read it to us.
I have them too.
I have it too.
Okay, so first one is one we do every year, right? It's
Yep.
the auditing process,
Yeah,
so that's
the 3 audits that we need.
pretty straightforward. Fiber optic cabling for the town building campus here. It's for the library, the fire, police, and town hall, I believe,
Yes.
to have fiber optic brought in, which will increase the capabilities. Police cruiser, we already talked about earlier this evening. Road construction is $200,000, and that's
Wasn't there talk about putting a lower number in there this year?
He asked for 250 and went down to 2.
I thought somebody said like 175 or 185.
I
didn't
thought
they?
it was lower than
Yeah,
the 2.
yeah,
but-
I remember hearing that as well. I don't remember, but from who? Might have been Liz. So this is all from free cash, right?
Correct.
Okay. The highway dump truck, it's
Capital.
It's capital, it's a
capital.
first year of
First
4
year
or
of a-
5 year lease, because it's a $65,000.
Aye.
Hi. We're almost ready.
Can we go back to a budget line
No.
for the police chief?
Oh, sure.
Could we up that to 107? Because I think based on some recent happenings and the search process, that's where we're going to need to be. I don't think that there's going to be a lapse in coverage.
Okay.
We have a candidate.
We have a process in mind and kind of a medium-term length of time candidate in mind.
That sounds suitably vague. Okay, we'll
Okay.
finish going through the
Okay,
Annual
thank you.
town
Sorry to interrupt.
no worries.
I just didn't want to wait until.
Okay. So we basically for the dump truck, and it'll be repeated for the command vehicle for the fire department and for the council on aging van. We took the total amount divided by 4 and added $1,000 in as kind of an estimate for financing costs and whatnot. So that's how we arrived at $17,000. Community preservation. This is it was listed as 105, but when I did the math, I only came up with $100,000. So
That's just the placing the money in the
different categories.
CPC categories, that's all it is.
Yep. Yeah, it wasn't even on our radar normally,
No.
but I noticed that she had it listed as finance committee votes on it. So I don't know if we have to or not.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't,
you
I don't think we
It's
did
an-
last
time.
it's
I don't think we do.
Well, it's an article at town meeting that the amount is being raised, so it's the 1.5% that's on your tax bills, guys, so you should.
School playground, $94,000. This is coming out again of the community preservation. Just a comment. I hope that they inform the town that this is not the full cost of the. Isn't it substantially more than this?
I don't know.
I think it is. Anyway.
I haven't been part of that at all.
Open space land acquisition, again for the community preservation. Next two are property valuations from the assessors, we do those all the time. Fire command vehicle. Again, took the total budget request of 68, divided it by 4, added back in a little bit.
Lease purchase.
Yes.
so these are 4-year leases, I thought we were doing 5-year.
Well, we just kind of divided them by 4 for the time being. If we don't need it, we can, there'll be in articles, if they chose to do a 5, they could, because we don't have enough to go the other way, they can do it, and then we'll have to vote just a little less money next year, because some will be in the articles, because it's capital money.
Fire department vehicle leases, this is the
Existing.
standard.
That's the 48,
Yeah.
yeah, 48,000 that we have till, I think, 2022 or 2023. Liz asked me.
Personal protective equipment, this is kind of our annual
Replacement.
amount that we give him for turnout gear and whatnot. It had been budgeted out of capital, but we're taking it out of
Still a lot of free cash.
free cash this year. Area 58, Barb, do you want to explain what this is?
Remember a number of years ago, we did the Area 58, the cable thing, and we had an article in there and got it all straightened out. Well, the state changed the rulings and whatnot, and we've had like 3 or 4 years where they told us just to do what we needed to do to get through it, and now it's gone back, that we have to do it as an enterprise article. So this article is the 70,000 that will go into that thing, and the same 70,000 is increased on the local receipts as an offset to it, so it doesn't cost us anything. That's why it's in just the transfer column, so it won't affect any.
Silver Lake Middle School resource officer, this is a 50% officer, of which we are paying not 50%. We're paying a portion based on our, we're paying a portion with Halifax based on our percentage of students versus Halifax's percentage of students. The question has been raised whether this is the appropriate way to fund this, or whether it should be part of the budget process for Silver Lake.
I just think it's better to leave it this way and let Kingston keep paying for
The
the
full-
officer completely.
otherwise
A
we're gonna pay
full-time high school officer. This is a part-time middle school officer. Let Plympton, Halifax pick up that share of it. I think it's a great thing to have. I think
I
they
think we
need
need
it.
them,
I
yeah.
do.
Fortunately, we do.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody's
it's unfortunate, but-
disputing the need for the position. I think it's just a question of what's the best way to handle it from a funding standpoint. From a, you know, transparency and all of that. Bylaw codification continued from last year, I believe. And then the Council on Aging van. There was supporting documentation. Did you guys get copied on that or not?
Yeah, I remember reading something about it.
Okay.
I think I did.
We had put this in the capital expense plan for, I believe, fiscal '22. So this is, you know, I know we talked about this last week, or last meeting, I believe, a little bit. So this is a couple of years ahead of schedule. So I'm just throwing that out there for what it's worth. Let's see if I can bring it up quick.
It's gonna be fun.
So this was the request submitted to Liz from Council on Aging. So it says that the So again, in the past, they wanted to have a second van. This is not,
This is a
that's since been
replacement.
changed. This is a replacement van for the current vehicle.
And that one traded in?
Traded
That
in
one
or sold.
will be traded in or sold. So,
By handicapped accessible, are they referring to a wheelchair?
They're gonna try that, I believe, if they can do it with the
Yeah.
total amount, because originally they only put in like 29,000
yeah.
and whatnot, so that's been altered to hopefully get something that has more accessibility than what
I
they
don't
have currently.
think you'll be able to get anything with a lift for $45,000.
Well, they
I mean,
could
you might get
always
something with
extend
low
it.
access or
Yeah,
whatever.
they could always extend it to a 5-year, that's why.
And they have the trade-in.
Yeah,
Maybe that
that's,
might help.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And see what
Yep.
they can get, what's on the state bid list and whatnot, go that one.
Yep. Discussions on any of these items?
I'm good.
Okay, the total being requested for the annual town meeting warrant is $691,403. entertain a motion for that to mount.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Was that an opposition or was that?
No, no.
Nope.
She just don't, just checking.
Okay.
Could you give me the total number for those, for the special town meeting?
Special was 182, 397.
Thank you. We're gonna go to the budget.
Yes, we will be asked to reconsider line number 550.
Police chief's salary.
Had it been recommended previously at 106, or did she just change? go and change that?
She may have put that in. I'm trying to see where the. Why is it not coming? Yeah, so the only comment was that the chief is retiring by the end of July. So we've been asked to reconsider and put
107,
106 and 107.
107 is what she had.
I mean, I guess
Don't really
they're
have a
gonna
lot to
hire
go on,
somebody.
so-
Yeah, I was gonna think they're gonna hire
Sounds like
somebody early
they've
when
got
they
somebody
go
lined
up.
up. I'll entertain a motion to reconsider line number 550 to change it from 100,000 to 107.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Our bottom line.
So our new. What's the matter, Barb?
I was gonna say, do you wanna go back and change the group insurance and take the 7,000 out of that? And we'll deal with it if we have to along the line.
No, that's fine. Okay. So our new number is 11,280,185. That's all I had for this evening. Is there anything else? I think we need to go to the selectmen to present this to them. But is there any other items for discussion before we adjourn to the selectmen?
I may know somebody who wants to join FinCom.
Really? Are they related to you?
No.
Oh, good. I mean,
It's better that way.
well, yeah, I was gonna say, I wouldn't want it to be you.
nepotism here.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Excellent.
Good.
He said it's okay to tell you who his name is.
Okay, who is it?
Mike Lemieux.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. He could be chairman.
Okay.
Maybe?
Lemieux.
So it's too late to pull papers, he'll do a write-in?
Yeah, but he's like, I don't know how to do that. And I was like, oh,
He's in.
Tell us.
yeah.
It's easy. It's
Takes
easy.
what,
I was
5
gonna say, you got 3, didn't you?
Yes, it takes long. Nope.
You can hand out a little piece of paper on voting
You
day.
can-
with your
yeah.
name and-
Yeah, you can.
Name and address, I believe.
Do stickers,
Stickers
you
or
know, those
whatever.
pull-off stickers that some
Oh, that's
people
All
do.
right, so let's take a brief recess. I'll go check with them and see if they want to talk to us tonight or not, and then we can either adjourn to the selectmen
Do
meeting.
we think we're gonna get this town meeting done in one night?
We usually do.
Right?
Nobody's gonna question those.
Those bylaws and
bylaws.
They're not gonna question those. It's gonna cost us a fortune.
I'm not gonna be here
Printing all
Thursday,
those.
so just in case, I leave
I don't think I am
tomorrow.
either, so.
Oh, good for you.
All right.
Where is that button?
How long are you going for? Is it
Just-
vacation?
It's short
Oh,
though, just for 4 days. We'll be
Nice.
there to see my mom. It's my daughter's birthday. My birthday's May 2nd, Mother's Day. So my son bought her and I and himself
Oh.
a ticket. My husband bought his own. The 4 of us are gonna go down.
Nice, that's great.
Whereabouts?
The Villages?
That's, my brother just bought a place in the
They
Villages.
love it.
Where
They're
is
so
that?
happy there.
It's in
It's
the
about an
middle.
hour north of Orlando.
Yeah,
It's a huge retirement, golf cart retirement community.
yeah.
I mean,
It's
it's
on
so
the water?
big. No.
No, it's in the middle.
That's better.
It's so
It's
big
in
that
the
it
middle.
has its own Walmart, like,
Yeah,
it's huge.
it has its own
Like,
hospital, it
it's
has
its own zip
doctor's
code.
office,
Oh, my.
everything.
It's nice. Have you been? Have you visited it all?
No, he just bought it in February, but he sent me this yesterday, Easter Sunday. He bought himself
Oh,
a
he bought himself a golf cart.
Golf cart.
Oh,
It's a
beautiful.
replica of her 1930 Ford.
It's a great looking
It's a
thing.
golf cart.
That's nice.
So that's what they ride around. His
Oh,
house
yeah, they use
has
them a lot.
two garages and a golf cart garage.
Oh, okay.
2 cars and a golf cart.
2 cars
There you
and
go.
then a golf cart, yeah, so,
I
yeah,
got a
I'm anxious to go see it, so.
brother-in-law
But they're
in
coming back up next
Satellite
month,
Beach
so I
and
won't see it
my
till the fall.
sister's in Titusville.
Yeah.
My mom's been down there now for
We haven't been down.
23 years.
In the Villages?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
His is one that is in a new section. He
Yeah.
just-
Yeah, and it's,
They had a place in Fort Lauderdale.
they never stop building. They
No,
sell the
they're
houses
still doing it.
fast as they can build them, they sell them.
Yeah, he was telling me yesterday on the phone, because I asked him when they finally get everything squared away and whatnot. And he said they pass papers for approximately 12 houses a day down there.
Yep, it's amazing.
So, but he had a place over in Fort Lauderdale on the Intercoastal, but it only had 1 bedroom, so it made it difficult with his kids and grandkids to
Yeah,
come
right, when they want
and
to
stay,
visit.
so they.
Okay, so, Board of Selectmen are finishing up with the fire chief now, but they'll take us afterwards, so we can adjourn
Okay.
this meeting to the Board of Selectmen. And then from there, we will just adjourn totally.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see, what
I'll not
time?
be coming back.
6:08.
Okay, who's voting to adjourn
So
this
moved.
thing? Okay.
Second.
Yep.
I'm
All
in
those in
favor.
favor?
I'm gonna take that stuff with me.
All set.
Come back and get it.
Thank you.